Everything is not what it seems with these hard rappers that came from nothing. In this video, stay tuned as we'll show you the truth of these rappers' lives. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
What's up, everybody? You're chilling with me, Aubrey Graham.
Travis Scott.
Like growing up here, I'm not saying that it's a trap, but it's just like how you want to express yourself, you know?
We'll admit that Travis Scott's story is a little more complicated in terms of whether he's from the street, that for the first 6 years of his life, he was living with his grandmother in a suburb of Houston, Texas. Sounds nice, right? Except it was a very crime-ridden place, which Scott realized and knew he had to get out of. So he went and later lived with his parents, who were not just middle class, they were honestly kind of wealthy. His mom worked for Apple and his dad had his own business. With their support, Travis Scott not only got out of the danger zone, if you will, but he went and attended high school and graduated at 17. He even went to college for a while, something most rappers don't do for one reason or another, before eventually dropping out and moving to New York to go and make a career making music. That didn't please his parents though, who cut him off, but as you can tell from his success, he didn't need it, and he was with Kylie Jenner for a bit, who's a self-made billionaire. So yeah, you can honestly say that Travis came from the streets in one way, but unlike many others, he was able to get away and thrive before going to make rap music, and that's a big distinction. 6ix9ine. The story of 6ix9ine is a very complicated one from start to finish, and we mean that in the worst way possible. And he would happily have you believe that everything he did, he's done from a position of trying to get out of the hood like many rappers before him. But given all that he's done, you have to look at it under a microscope and ask if all of it is as he says it is. Granted, there are many interpretations of growing up in the hood, including having a terrible upbringing, which at some point 6ix9ine honestly did have. Other times it's about living in a rough neighborhood, which you could also interpret for 6ix9ine from a certain point of view. But the biggest thing about being from the hood is that you understand what that means on a larger scale and the code of the streets that comes along with it. Because while most rappers want to get off the streets and into a better life, that doesn't mean you betray what the streets taught you. Obviously, 6ix9ine forgot that last part. He wanted the fame and glory that came with being a rapper that was from the hood, not the loyalty and respect for others that was meant to go with it. A mindset that would influence his career and eventually turn everyone, more or less, in the rap world against him. You see, like many people from various hoods, 6ix9ine decided to go and join a street gang, one known as the 9 Treys, who were stationed out of New York. His goal of getting with them was very simplistic. He wanted their power and influence to try and get himself a rap career, and in return, he would give them money that he made from various avenues of his success. They were all for that and welcomed him into the group, and for a while, everything seemed to be going great. 6ix9ine was getting fame, 9 Treys were getting money from 6ix9ine, which he agreed to fund their own operations and more. But then in late 2018, they all got arrested. At this point, it would be the code of the streets to keep your mouth shut, let the feds play their cards, and see what happens next. But for 6ix9ine, he wasn't going to do that. He believed that the 9 Treys betrayed him via very convoluted logic, and thus he didn't need to follow the code of the streets. So thus he ratted them out, and he ratted them out hard, which proves while he may come from the streets, he doesn't represent what it means truly to be from them, because no self-respecting person from that area would snitch on their brothers the moment after they all got arrested. And yet he did it. He got out of jail with very little time spent in it, and now he's making music again and trolling everyone who thinks he's a snitch, which he both admits and denies depending on the interview. So yeah, 6ix9ine may be from one place that rappers are associated with, but he doesn't represent them at all. Kanye West.
Here we are, the house that Kanye West grew up in, the infamous Donda's house.
Starting off this list, we go with a man who is easily one of the most unique entries, well, ever. After all, it's Kanye West. While Kanye West is making waves now because of his bipolar disorder and the various things he does with his mood swings, there's no doubt that his upbringing is just as unique, if not more. Because if you listen to songs like Power and Beyond, you think that Kanye loves his power because he grew up poor. But that's not true. In fact, he had both a famous father and mother, though admittedly they divorced when he was young. But though he did move to Chicago, he lived a very middle-class life because his mother was not just a doctor, but a teacher at Chicago State University. As if that wasn't enough, when he was 10, him and his mother went to China as part of an educational exchange program. It was there that Kanye learned Chinese, that he's since forgotten, but proved that he was a fan of the arts, one that would lead him to the music world over time. He made his first track at 13, and the rest is history. So while Kanye may act a certain way for his rapper image, he honestly had a pretty special and privileged childhood. Post Malone.
Hard to escape the popularity thanks to his son. He showed us Austin's old room where some of his first guitars still hang.
Easily another unique entry on this list. Post Malone is a guy who you look at and say, yeah, he's from the streets. Just look at those tattoos. And it's hard to deny that Post Malone does have that look that screams hardcore rapper, and yet he's not exactly that by his own admission. Just as important, his life was a lot more blessed than others. And it honestly didn't just have to be about where he lived either. He started out in Syracuse, New York, which is a nice place, no doubt. But then when he was just 9, his father got the job of a lifetime. He was going to be the head of concessions at Cowboy Stadium in Texas. That's right, he was going to be the guy running the food stores for America's team. You don't just get that job. Obviously, that set up Post Malone with everything he needed financially for him and his family to be happy, which is why he is a very laid-back person, and thus led to him becoming a big star in music. Though he is a rapper, he doesn't choose to identify as that. which obviously has rubbed some people the wrong way over the years. Regardless, his story is one that proves you can't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, by its face tattoos. Chance the Rapper.
In all ways, I feel like I couldn't be who I am without being from Chicago and having the experiences that I had.
Chance the Rapper in many ways is one of the most unique rappers in the industry today, mainly because he is a true indie rapper, meaning that all of his songs he releases are ones that are not tied to publishers, which you would think would be a hindrance, but instead he's one of the biggest rappers around. Plus, being associated with Chicago, you'd think he didn't have the most royal of upbringings, right? Wrong, because his father worked in some very high places for some very powerful people. We're talking about being an aide to the mayor of Chicago, and then being an aide to Barack Obama when he was the senator of Illinois. He even met with Obama once and told him about his dream of being a rapper. Obama's response? Word. He was in a middle-class part of Chicago, and he was there happily until he went fully into the music world. How many rappers do you know were tight with a future president? J. Cole.
Definitely worth the drive. You know, I'm a real big J. Cole fan. Of course, I can't go inside the house.
J. Cole is a great rapper and beloved by the community, but if you look into his backstory, you'll see that he honestly had a better childhood than you might expect. He technically wasn't even born in the United States, as he was born in 1985, a reference he would later use in a song, at an American Air Force base in West Germany. This was before the unification. After his father left him and his mother, they were moved to a multi-ethnic part of North Carolina, and he noted later on in life he actually could relate to all the other ethnicities, but he still connected the most with his black side. Quote, "I can identify with white people because I know my mother, her side of the family, who I love. But at the end of the day, I've never felt white. I can identify with white people, but never have I felt like I'm one of them. I identify more with what I look like because that's how I got treated, but not necessarily in a negative way." So while he did have a few things to deal with, he had a rather balanced life. He went to school and got a 4.2 GPA in high school and was a first chair violinist in an orchestra. Very impressive indeed, and not something you hear about in most rapper backstories. As if that wasn't enough, he eventually went to college and graduated magna cum laude. In fact, that's honestly a little odd he went from that to the world of rap. But the rap world is definitely grateful to have him as a part of their family. Tupac.
Like, I think I'm ready now, as ready as I'm gonna be in this world, but so it's okay. I guess 17 is all right.
Now hold on, don't overreact. We can prove that this is exactly what we claim, and in a very basic way too. If you were asked where Tupac Shakur was born, you would say East Harlem, which can most definitely be defined as hood, depending on who you talk to. But here's the catch. Tupac's parents got him out there and into Maryland before too long, where he attended a private school and even transferred later on to a school of the arts where he could refine his artistic abilities such as poetry, acting, and more. That one move changed everything for him in a big way. Few rappers via their upbringing got to go to private school, and a fancy one no less. Tupac had it better than most, and it was his family, not him, who decided to move to San Francisco in order to have an even better life. This eventually led to him moving to Los Angeles so that he could go and live his rapper life that we all know and love. Family life matters in being from the hood, which is true, and that is a bit more complicated, but it doesn't make the statement true. While the mother was indeed a person who had a lot of substance misuse issues, she still had the resources and ability to raise Tupac, and both her and Tupac's father were members of the middle class, as well as members of the infamous Black Panther Party. This led to them being in trouble with the law at times, but also getting off so that they still were able to take care of Tupac. So put that together with his schooling, which by the way led to him meeting one Jada Pinkett Smith, just saying, and the result is a man who did love music but didn't need it to save his life. Plus, he refused to join certain street groups when he was a kid, another key difference for many rappers. So why is it that people associate the hood with Tupac? Simple, because rappers love Tupac. He was one of the people who helped make rap music what it is today. In the 90s, he was one of the biggest draws around. His music is so legendary that to this day, he influences others in their own style. He's a legend, and his passing hit a lot of people hard, but you can't just remember one part of Tupac. You have to remember all parts, like how he was no saint, and that he was a convicted felon in his adult years, and that not everything he sang about was great. While that is all true, you can also honestly say that it wasn't because of his upbringing that he turned out that way. Lil Wayne.
Whereabouts you grew up?
For me, for Lil Wayne, it began in New Orleans, Louisiana.
To be clear, there's little doubt that Lil Wayne has had a very hard upbringing. He was born when his mother was just 19, his father left him, and the two then lived in a very rundown neighborhood. So by many definitions, you could argue that Lil Wayne was hood nearly from birth. But the question here is not his upbringing, but rather all the claims that Lil Wayne has had about his hood life, mainly the people he was associated with during that time. You see, Lil Wayne has made claims over the years that he was part of various groups, including being a part of the Bloods and doing various acts for them. Yet if you actually look up on the files on him, there's not a trace of him being a part of those groups or him doing incidents that would be symbolic of being in a group like that. Plus, Lil Wayne is known for being high like all the time. In fact, most of his arrests were because he had various illegal substances that he was going to smoke, not sell, which is not exactly the hood mentality, you know? Lil Wayne always talks a bit game, but you have to wonder if he's just playing to get more credibility. Other rappers have done that too. Drake.
What's up, everybody? You're chilling with me, Aubrey Graham. You guys want to go for a ride? We can go for a ride.
Drake is easily the biggest name in rap right now, and you might feel that because of his passion, powerful lyrics, and his love for the game that he's a true rapper in regards to his upbringing, but not so much. Not unlike many hood/street rappers, Drake was born into the world with not the best of circumstances, including having his father leave him and his mother in order to go to America to pursue his own musical career. As a result, Drake and his mother had to go live in a rather rundown area of Toronto where there were also a lot of issues. But this is where his twist of fate came in, because he got an opportunity to go and be on television. He was a star on Degrassi The Next Generation, and that led to him getting a lot of money to support his mother and himself. Eventually, that led to him getting in touch with key music people, and his career took off after that. So technically speaking, Drake started out living the street life, but then he got the golden ticket to get a better life, and he happily took it. Eminem.
Happy birthday to you.
Eminem is the rap god and easily one of, if not the most important rapper of the last 2 decades because of the influence he's had on the genre. You see, despite being associated with Detroit more than just about any other major rapper, and him actually living there right now, he actually wasn't born there. He did grow up there in part, but not in the way you would think. To start this story, we have to go all the way back to when Eminem was Marshall Mathers, because his story was great, but not fully street. When he was young, Marshall Mathers was raised by his mother due to his father abandoning him and never choosing to be a part of Eminem's adult life. Usually that would be enough for someone to call him hood, but it's a little more complicated than that, mainly because of the fact that due to Eminem's mother's inability to maintain a job for a long period of time, he was never able to be in one area all the time. He would move from state to state across the Midwest to whatever place his mother landed in, and he suffered as a result. He was an outcast at school because he kept moving around. He couldn't make friends, he was always bullied, and he had a lot of anger. It was using that anger that he started to do music, and through the underground rap movement in Detroit, where Eminem was officially born, and the rest, as they say, is history. So at this point you might be wondering, so how is he not street? That's because while it's true that Eminem had a hard life, you could say that about many people who moved around a lot, and clearly his mother had enough money to go and move him all over the place, as well as keep him enrolled in school. There are many who are literally stuck because they're so poor. Plus, even Eminem admitted that his time in school helped him with his rap career because of how he fell in love with English class and learned to use his words efficiently. Thus, while he was a guy who lived a hard life, it wasn't exactly a lot of rappers out there, and that's a very important distinction. Eminem is still a boss, and he's living the high life now, and there's little doubt that he had a rough childhood, but it wasn't exactly what people picture when you think of street life. And there you have it, a look at many who have a big persona in the rap world, but may not have the origin stories that you're thinking about. Which of these rapper stories were you the most surprised about? Which ones have helped you get a certain new view on them and their careers? Do you know other rappers that could be on this list? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe. I'm King Trending, and I'll see you next time.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.